Hey everyone, and welcome to Boston Autoblog. For almost 20 years, the Toyota Prius has owned the hybrid segment in the United States, and they really haven't had a lot of competition over the last 2 decades. I mean, there has been the Chevy Volt and the Hyundai Ioniq, but there really hasn't been anything that could really give them a lot of trouble. Well, those days are over, and it might be the end of their reign. Today, I'm taking a look at the 2019 Honda Insight Touring, and this car is built to take on and beat the Toyota Prius. This is the third generation Honda Insight, and I think they have finally figured it out. But first, let's go really in depth on this car to check out and see if this is a legitimate threat to the Toyota Prius. I'd like to thank Herb Chambers Honda of Burlington, Massachusetts for allowing me to do this review. Their link will be in the description below so you can check out their extensive Honda inventory. And so, without wasting any further time, let's get right into this review. The Honda Insight has come a long way in the last 20 years, from being a futuristic, turn-of-the-century two-door hybrid in 2000, to then being a hatchback starting in 2010 for the second generation, to now being a sedan for the 2019 model year. As they say, the third time's a charm, and it seems that Honda has great ambitions with the Insight and is ready to challenge the Toyota Prius for the top spot in the hybrid segment under $30,000. Knowing full well what they're getting themselves into, Honda came fully prepared, having learned from past experiences and putting a lot of thought into the third generation Insight. Built on the same platform as the Civic, many design cues are shared, including the interior, which we'll check out in a few minutes. From far away, it's understandable that onlookers may confuse the Insight for a future next generation Civic, and some would argue that they prefer the road presence of the Insight because it's much more conservative. This may bode well for the reintroduced hybrid, as there's a growing number of consumers who are gravitating toward alternative energy, but desire not to stand out with futuristic designs that haven't been widely accepted in the automotive market. By going with the Civic-like appearance with subtle styling elements taken from the Accord, Honda is setting themselves up for immediate success with this hybrid. Today we've got the Touring trim, which starts just under $30,000. Most of the upgrades compared to the standard features on the LX and EX trims are mostly noticeable inside, but there's some minor differences with the appearance that include 17-inch alloy wheels over the 16s that come standard on the lower trims, LED fog lights, LED turn indicators, and a power moonroof. For performance, the Insight comes with a 1.5-liter 4-cylinder engine that gets 151 horsepower and 197 pound-feet of torque, and is paired with an electronic continuously variable transmission. If you feel inclined to do so, the Insight has a faster 0 to 60 time than the Prius, so if you're at a stoplight, put it in sport mode and you'll get around your hybrid counterpart. But in all seriousness, the Insight's primary purpose is its exceptional fuel efficiency. On Touring trim, you can expect to receive 51 miles per gallon in the city and 46 miles per gallon on the highway. You're sacrificing a bit of fuel range with the larger tires and extra weight, as the LX and EX will get 55 and 49 respectively. But that sacrifice does come with a reward as we check out the interior. If additional comfort features and minor touches go a long way for you, the Touring will offer power adjustable and heated leather trim seats for both the driver and passenger, a leather wrapped steering wheel, and dual zone climate control. The paddle shifters mounted behind the steering wheel aren't used for selecting gears when putting the Insight in sport mode, but instead will allow the driver to adjust the regenerative braking intensity. In front of you is a half analog, half digital instrument panel, and by using the buttons mounted on the steering wheel, you can scroll through information and features, such as fuel efficiency and safety technology like traffic sign recognition. One of Honda's top priorities is safety, and this Insight certainly has a list of features that come standard on the LX trim, including collision mitigation, road departure mitigation, adaptive cruise control, and lane keep assist. Moving over to the infotainment system, you'll get an 8-inch high-resolution touchscreen, which has been updated for all 2018 models in Honda's lineup. On the Touring, you'll get a navigation system along with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility, and of course, you'll have a rear backup camera. But on the Insight, there will also be an additional angle that shows the rear bumper and how close you are to objects, which is perfect for parallel parking. There's also an additional camera on the passenger side view mirror that will show your blind spot and if it's clear to change lanes. Moving down the center console, you'll find the buttons and knobs for your dual zone climate control and heated seats. Below that, you'll get 2 USB inputs and a 12-volt outlet, along with a storage compartment for your smartphone. Instead of a gear shift lever, the Insight has push buttons for park, reverse, neutral, and drive, which is common on hybrid and electric vehicles. There will also be 3 different drive modes to choose from: Eco, Sport, and EV, with each driving mode slightly changing the throttle response when accelerating. In between the front seats, you'll get 2 cup holders, and for the center storage compartment, there's plenty of room for small items and a place to put your smartphone. For passengers in the back, Honda boasts a class-leading 37.4 inches of legroom, and with the leather-trimmed seats, they'll be very comfortable during a road trip. Despite the high praise for rear legroom, the Insight is definitely a 4-person vehicle, as the passenger in the middle will certainly be cramped. However, the Insight does lean more towards being a compact sedan, so with vehicles in this segment, the 5th passenger shouldn't expect too much comfort when it comes to legroom. For rear cargo space, the Insight will get close to 15 cubic feet of cargo volume with the seats folded up. Versus the competitors, that's more than the Chevy Volt, and it's actually just slightly smaller than the Honda Accord, and is on par with most sedans of its size. I'm not trying to be funny when I make this statement, but the Honda Insight, its story over the last 20 years from where it came from, it's almost like the exact same storyline as the movie with Dennis Quaid, which was The Dog's Purpose. It was a dog that reincarnated a number of times to find its purpose, and I think Honda, having reincarnated the Insight 2 previous times, and now this is the 3rd time, they have finally found its purpose, and it's unbelievable, to be honest, that they've actually made a car that's built on the exact same platform as the Civic. It looks kind of like the Civic. In my opinion, I think it looks better, but it's a hybrid sedan. Now, you could make the argument that the Honda Accord Hybrid is a regular-looking sedan, and that, a number of other car brands are doing that with a hybrid trim on their sedans. But the Insight is just a hybrid. There's no gas-powered version of this, and this is going straight on against the Toyota Prius. What's working in this car's favor is that it does not look like a hybrid at all. From far away, it looks like a new generation Civic, and I think that's the goal for this car. Honda really definitely put a lot of thought into this, because if you think about people who are on the fence of going to alternative energy, do they really want a car that has weird, styling and just doesn't not look like a regular car at all? Whereas the Honda Insight, you could blend in with any car on the road, and the only way a person or a passerby or whatever is going to be able to see that it's a hybrid is if they check out the badges on the side of the vehicle.
I think Honda has hit a home run with this car. You get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility on the EX trim, which is for about $24,000. Now, the one I'm in right now is $28,000, so you get leather trim seats, heated seats. You also get dual zone climate control and a moonroof. So you get a little bit more of a luxury feel to this car, a little more entry-level luxury, and I think this will go a long way, especially at $28,000. This is a pretty nice vehicle and a pretty good deal. Overall, I think this is a very good car. Honda has done an unbelievable job with their third generation Insight. I would be extremely surprised if this does not do well immediately in the United States, just because, you know, it's styling, it looks classy, it does not look like a hybrid, as I said before, it looks kind of like a Honda Civic, and you blend right in. I just think that this will really resonate well with consumers who are not exactly sure yet, but this car might be the deciding factor for them moving forward. But my overall impressions of this car is that I'm really, really impressed. I got to see this car in New York at the New York Auto Show, but I didn't get a more in-depth look. And to see this now, to at least have moved it around the lot, it drives and handles really well. It's very comfortable. The bumps are not bad. It drives much more premium than its price point, which again, I think is gonna do really well with consumers. And at least for me, I'm extremely impressed with this car. And you know, I'm not in the market for a hybrid, but this would definitely be on my list, especially if I had to choose between a Chevy Volt, a Hyundai Ioniq, and a Toyota Prius. This is going to be at the top of my list, and I'm definitely not looking back if this opportunity arises where I may need a hybrid. This is what I'm going with, and I like the way it is, like the way it feels, like how comfortable it is, and for me personally, Honda has done an unbelievable job with this new Insight.
Once again, I'd like to thank Herb Chambers Honda of Burlington for allowing me to check out and review the 2019 Honda Insight Touring. I hope you enjoyed this review. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. And I'll see you next time.